What's up, Crypto Crew, and welcome back. Or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Mite, actively escaping the Matrix, scoping out the crypto ocean. So if you like your odds, get on the boat, stay up to date, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat!
Crypto Crew, are Bitcoiners and Bitcoin Maxis starting to wake up? Fred Thiel, CEO of Marathon Digital, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Bitcoin miner in the world, has just stated that Bitcoin miners must own power or die trying before the next halving. Fred Thiel echoes what we here on your Crypto Crew and the Kaspa community at large have been saying for months and months. Quote, Bitcoin was designed with the idea that transaction fees would eventually replace the subsidy, but that hasn't happened. If Bitcoin doesn't grow at 50% or more annually, the math gets very tough after 2028 and even tougher in 2032. End quote.
Guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
Obviously, BTC hasn't been and will not be used for transactions because it's too slow on the layer 1. The tech is outdated and unfit to be used as such in 2025 and in the future. This might explain why Marathon Digital have shifted to AI and HPC and maybe is starting to slowly stack CAS again. But unlike in 2024, Kaspa is classified as quote-unquote other digital assets, so as of the latest reports, Marathon Digital still holds Kaspa, which next to Bitcoin still is the only crypto coin Marathon Digital mines.
Ha, gotcha.
Prove all things, hold fast, that which is good. Keep your Kaspa coins, Bitcoins, and other crypto investments safe through self-custody, and in our opinion, your best option is the Tangent wallet. Plug and play, easy to use, and the most affordable cold storage out there. Now, for a limited time, you can get 20% off using codes CryptoCrew and WHFEXT10. Link in the description box below. Thanks so much for your consideration and support in advance, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you all.
You forgot one very important thing, mate.
So some of the big players are starting to realize the flaws of Bitcoin and the imminent danger in the not so distant future. If Bitcoin's transaction fees will not incentivize its miners, they will cease mining, which will leave BTC's network open for attacks. Layer 2 options such as Lightning are not Bitcoin, even though many actors in the current space are falsely selling it as such. Shout out to Juan and Kara and the Caspians behind blockchain banter. In the following clip, you will hear Bitcoiners and Kaspa Onion talk about Lightning and what is wrong with the current situation Bitcoin has found itself in, which steers the conversation back to Kaspa.
What it sounds like to me is that the base layer is going to be the store of value, i.e. gold in the 40s, right? And then Lightning is the printed cash upon it, except Lightning is, if I'm not mistaken, it's non-custodial, right? But like Lightning is supposed to be closer to what peer-to-peer is. But what you're saying, Onion, is that you'd buy a house on the base layer, but you buy your cup of coffee. The thing is, there's thousands of people buying cup of coffees all day long. So you can have millions upon millions of transactions that aren't being processed on the base layer. Is that what you were getting at?
Exactly that. I'm basically saying that this is what the Bitcoiners argue. They argue that the high velocity payments and low dollar amounts will be on Lightning. And they think that if you're going to buy a house, that would take place on the base layer. But my argument is, I guess the Kaspa argument is that the base layer, no one's going to have enough money to buy a house on the base layer. I genuinely believe that the average Fedwire transaction is $5 million. And there's 900,000 transactions a day with Fedwire. And these are corporations. So this is the current base layer. I believe this is going to directly onboard to the Bitcoin base layer, and that already means 110% of the block space is claimed by corporations that haven't onboarded yet. And my theory is that 100% of the Bitcoin base layer is going to be having $5 million transactions going through back and forth. Full Bitcoin base layer, it's going to be Apple sending money to Google, Google sending money to BlackRock. My issue is these guys are going to be sending transactions of $50 billion, and they're going to be more than happy to pay a $500 million transaction fee if it means they get into the block space, or maybe a 50 million transaction fee. I know that's really high, but at some point it just becomes, how long does a corporation with $20 billion want to wait? Some might be willing to wait 3 days, But if you think about, like, if the fee market really kicks in and the people sending money back and forth on the base layer is 100% filled by corporations that have billions of dollars, how on earth are we even going to, like, buy a house on Bitcoin? Like, we're going to be forced to the Lightning Network. I guess the issue is people are going to be forced to store 100% of their wealth on the Lightning Network. Your net worth is going to be pushed to a hot wallet.
You say forced. That's not happening. It's being marketed right now.
Ooh.
That Lightning is where you transact on Bitcoin. That is what Bitcoin is being sold as. Why do you think I've been angry all day? It's insane. The way that Lightning is being marketed as Bitcoin, even though they are flat out claiming, I saw that post recently, the new feature they're launching tomorrow, where you can send USD on Bitcoin rails without even needing Bitcoin. It's being marketed right now that you don't even need Bitcoin to use Bitcoin. Normies don't understand what we are talking about. Bitcoiners are mostly normies. They don't understand what we're talking about. They get angry. They react because we question and call out the fundamental flaws that they're experiencing. And it's already in play. We're already seeing the narrative shift. That's where the gold goes. Everyone else goes to the bank and takes out their small amount of money to transact. That's Lightning. Bitcoin is going to be in armored trucks. It's not peer-to-peer. It is not for people anymore. And yeah, I just wanted to jump in, man. You said forced. There's going to be no force. It's manipulation.
Yeah.
It's how big business works. They sell narratives so that they can profit. It's the same case all over again. You look at where Bitcoin stemmed from, what Satoshi envisioned. It was countering this, rejecting this. What happens when people are early into a new way of thinking? Crypto is a new way of approaching a fundamental way of life. And when people are early and they understand that, they jump on it. Like the cypherpunks were the cypherpunks. But there were people early in Bitcoin that understood where this could lead and what opportunities it creates for them. And Saylor was one of these people. He came to Bitcoin late. He even admits that, but he came early enough. That's where we are. That's just where I think. That's where I'm seeing unfold. It's business control, corporate narrative, propaganda. We are not seeing Bitcoin in use, and Bitcoin was a product of its time, but it's been sold as a Bible. It's been sold as faith. That's the maximalists that are having a hard time shaking that they're immutable. There is no solution to their problem. Their problem is perfect. And Kaspa is the only thing I see that is actually doing what was intended. And just it's been so frustrating the last day, but it's also been tremendously easy. Is why I've been so vocal. Fun times. Lots of fun times. Everyone should be optimistic.
And even Bitcoin content creators are starting to see the cracks through this mining problem for Bitcoin. Shout out to Isabel at btcisla.
Bitcoin mining has a problem. Everyone sees it as this magical process of machines running 24/7, printing money and securing the backbone of Bitcoin. When I started digging into how Bitcoin mining actually works, I realized the truth was pretty ugly behind the scenes. Bitcoin is being infiltrated by the same virus Big Tech got not so long ago. And if we don't fix it, Bitcoin could literally die from the inside out. In the beginning, if you wanted Bitcoin, there was no exchanges. There was no Coinbase charging you 3.99% in fees. No kill your customer crap. No in-betweeners. If you wanted Bitcoin, there was only one way to get it. You had to mine it yourself. Or if you were crazy enough, meet a random Bitcoin dealer and buy Bitcoin directly from them. From 2009 to 2010, Bitcoin mining was like a digital treasure hunt, open to anyone, anywhere. Every 10 minutes, a new block appeared, and whoever found it first received 50 Bitcoin. Those coins were pure, untainted, untraceable, unlinked to your identity, the real sovereign Bitcoin. But as the network grew, Bitcoin mining stopped looking like a game of luck, and it started to look more like a business. Imagine you walk outside and you see a glowing block floating in the sky. Inside that block, there's a secret number. You guess it right, you get 50 Bitcoin. You guess it wrong, you get nothing. That's what we call solo mining, where only one player tries to mine the block on its own. But then your neighbor says,
Oye, ¿y si adivinamos juntos y compartimos el premio?
And suddenly you're guessing twice as fast. She finds the next block, we both split the reward. And that's the birth of what we call mining pools. More miners, more power, more predictable results. It worked perfectly until it didn't, because as more people joined, they realized something. Those who control the machines controls the game. And that's when everything changed. What used to feel like a lottery became predictable, like a business model. If you can mine a Bitcoin for less than the electricity and the hardware that it cost, you basically had a money printer. And when people realize they can print money, they don't stop, they scale. Soon, garages turn into warehouses, miners turn into corporations, and Bitcoin's homegrown hobby turned into an industrial arms race.
Crypto Crew, this is a classic example of how yesterday's laurels don't guarantee tomorrow's success. Hopefully, more people in the Bitcoin community will start to recognize what's inevitable for BTC if nothing changes, and maybe take the time to understand Kaspa's fundamentals and how Kas tackles the same issue. As of this recording, the whole market is down, including Bitcoin. The current lack of price action for Kaspa doesn't prove much either way. Price is not the main things we are focused on here. It's the fundamentals, and those haven't changed for Kaspa. More on this in a video coming soon, Crypto Crew. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good.
Stick around.
Fix your mind before you get to the grind. And with that said, let's continue to escape the matrix. Let's continue to be on the lookout for the next big thing here on the crypto ocean. Grow in grace, and let's make some crypto waves. Say ah.